Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Fatina binti Norzaidi and I am student from 8023 2B. Today, my groupmate and I will present the income statement for marginal and absorption costing. Before we start to prepare the income statement for marginal costing and absorption costing, the first step we need to do is to calculate the product cost. There will be two product costs, which are marginal costing and absorption costing. Under marginal costing, only variable costs will be selected. The costs incurred are direct material, direct labor, and variable production overhead. While for absorption costing, both variable and fixed costs will be included. The costs incurred are direct material, direct labor, variable production overhead, and fixed production overhead. Besides that, any period cost will not be included in product cost calculation. Period costs are other costs that not involved in prime cost and production overhead. Period cost examples are administration overhead and variable selling overhead. This table shows the calculation for product cost. Direct material and direct labor for marginal costing and absorption costing are the same at RM42 and RM36. To get variable production overhead, 60% needs to be multiplied by RM30. Therefore, the variable production overhead for marginal and absorption costing is RM18. Meanwhile, to calculate fixed production overhead, 40% needs to be multiplied by RM30. The value of production overhead will only be recorded in absorption costing of RM12. Finally, we need to add all the values. Total marginal costing will be RM96, while absorption costing will cost RM108.
For this question, we need to prepare the income statement for Bekku Sdn Bhd for the months of November 2021 under marginal costing and absorption costing method. Before we start to prepare the income statement, we need to find the selling price per unit. As given in the question, the selling price per unit is equal to the total cost plus 25% on margin. So the selling price per unit that we get is RM224 measured. Next, for the marginal costing income statement, we use total product cost of marginal costing, which is RM96 measured. Then we use this draft. Sales minus with variable cost of goods sales is equal to gross margin. After we find the gross margin, we need to minus that with variable selling and administration overhead, which is 20% of sales revenue. Then we get the contribution margin. Next, contribution margin minus with fixed cost, which is fixed production overhead and fixed selling and administration overhead, and equal to the net profit.
While for absorption costing income statement, we use the total product cost of absorption costing, which is RM108. Then we use this draw, which is sale minus with cost of goods sold equal to gross profit. Next, gross profit minus with variable selling and administration, fixed selling and administration equal adjusted net profit. After that, we need calculate fixed production overhead absorption and fixed production overhead incurred to know what this income statement is over or under absorption. So for this income statement, we get under absorption. Lastly, to get adjusted net profit, we need to minus unadjusted net profit with under absorption. To find overhead absorbed is equal to fixed production overhead multiplied by actual production. Meanwhile, for overhead incurred is equal to fixed production multiplied by budget production.
To show the difference of net profit under the marginal and absorption costing approaches, what we need to do is we need to know the marginal costing net profit. So, where do we get this figure? This figure comes from the marginal income statement, which is the net profit. After that, we need to identify either the stock increase or the stock decrease. To determine this, we need to referring to the closing inventory minus opening inventory. in this question, the closing inventory is 4,000, meanwhile the opening inventory is 2,000. So 4,000 minus 2,000, we will get 2,000. After that, 2,000, we will need to times it with the fixed production overhead at the question 1, which is RM12. So, after that, we will get the stock increase, which is 24,000. Marginal costing net profit plus the stock increase, which is 24,000, then we will get the absorption costing net profit, which is 918,800. Referring to the net profit under absorption costing statement, we can actually reconcile the net profit under the two costing approaches.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurul Hanim binti Kamaruddin. My metric number is 2021125773. I will present on question number 4 and 5. For question number 4, discuss two advantages of using marginal costing and absorption costing. Advantages of marginal costing. First, shows contribution, which enables management to decide where to concentrate on sales. For example, if customers are willing to buy product, accessories or services at a robust margin, it may make sense to use marginal cost pricing to sell a product on an ongoing basis and then earn profits from these later sales. Second, emphasize on cost behavior. Thus, managers are aware how cost reacts with changes in units. For example, there will be customers who are extremely sensitive to prices. This group might not otherwise buy from a company unless they were willing to engage in marginal cost pricing. If so, a company can earn some incremental profits from these customers. Okay, next is advantages of absorption costing. First, it helps to calculate gross and net profit for any given period and differentiates between product and period cost absorption. Cost absorption costing includes a company's fixed cost of operations such as salaries, facility rental, and utility bills. Second, prices are set by reference to the fixed cost, thus does not lead to underpricing. As for that, it will provide a company with a more accurate picture of profitability than variable costing, particularly if all of its products are not sold during the same accounting period as their manufacture. Last but not least, for question 5, state a situation where the net profit will be the same under marginal and absorption costing approaches. The answer is when level of production and sales are same. If the level of production is the same, so there will be no closing stock. For example, if there are about 16,000 products were produced, then the products that were sold is also 16,000. So it shows that there is no closing inventory. At last, since there is no closing inventory, then the profit will stay the same between the marginal and absorption costing. So that's all from me. Thank you.